And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba. Welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Roster Report here on livinginblack.com. My name is Keidi Awadu, aka the Conscious Roster. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come at you from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT. We get together with you and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives, entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Monday. It is the 16th day of January, or 16th day of June, the year 2022 in the Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6265 in the Kemetic calendar. Welcome to the seventh millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIV Radio, LIV TV, here on livinginblack.com. Whew. Not bad. Not bad. I'm not too discombobulated for today. I'm hoping and praying that each and every one of you will listen very, very carefully today. Most Americans, most people in the United States are affected by one or more of 5 chronic disease conditions. These 5 chronic disease conditions include the pathogenesis of overweight, obesity, includes cardiovascular disease, includes chronic inflammation that leads to autoimmune disorders. Most people in America are dealing with one or more metabolic syndrome disorders. And we'll talk about metabolic syndrome in detail today. And 2 out of 5 Americans are on a course of or already dealing with cancer. That's unacceptable. All of which, that's all unacceptable. If I could use my life as an example, I am not dealing with any of these. No. Let me take that back. I am dealing with all of these, but I am dealing with them in a preventive manner, strictly prevention. I highly recommend you follow this example. I highly recommend it. Excuse me, I got a little eyelash in my eye there. I'll be okay in a sec. So that is what the subject is for today. We are talking about 5 disorders, diseases and of course, you know, they all overlap in diet and lifestyle. Not just diet, not just lifestyle, diet and lifestyle. So we're going to ask you today, our listening audience, our beautiful LIV Radio global family, to talk to us today about what you do, what you would do, what you do to prevent these 5 chronic diseases from overtaking your life. I feel really good about today's topic. I'm hoping and praying. I'm going to pray today. I'm hoping and praying that you will join us as we engage in a widespread revolt against the medical pharmaceutical drug cartel complex. I'm not going to be sharing any misinformation or disinformation today. Not at all. I have to only share with you information that has been verified by numerous peer-reviewed medical studies from highly recommendable sources. You insist, you demand that of me, and I think you should demand that of me and every other healthcare professional that you encounter with, that you deal with on a daily basis or a weekly basis, however much. But you demand that they can verify everything they tell you. And many times, it's best for you and I to know the answers to these questions before we even step inside the doctor's office. So that is what is on the table for today. Let's go into today's conversation. Today we are talking about clinical nutrition or common disorders in the USA today. The clinical nutrition consultation that I do optimizes functional medicine procedures necessary to deliver natural therapies for your particular diagnosis. We understand the pathogenesis, what created the condition. We understand this pathogenesis, and we do understand alternative health pathways and nutrition-based solutions that are drug-free and create the conditions by which the body can rapidly heal itself from within. Let me repeat that. Understanding the pathogenesis, a word that means creation of a disorder, and the alternative health pathways, as well as understanding nutrition-based solutions and lifestyle-based solutions that are drug-free and create the conditions by which your body heals itself. I don't cure anybody. Doctors don't cure anybody. Medical pharmaceutical complex does not cure anyone. Your body will or can, your body can heal itself, cure itself. The best that we could do is help you along that pathway, point you in the right direction, and give you some adjuvants that you'll use that are natural and holistic that will help you to achieve what you want to achieve with your body. I really want to be clear about that. This is your decision to make. These are your decisions to make. This conversation is primarily for people who are concerned about these 5 main disorders that we're going to be covering today. Overweight or obese, chronic inflammation that creates autoimmune disorders, cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome diseases, including diabetes, hypertension, etc. Or if you are at risk of being 2 out of every 5 people in the US who will develop cancer in their lifetime, and the cancer will be out of control. I will say this much. Cancer affects virtually all adults. You have these little micro cancer nodules throughout our body, but they don't last. The body eliminates them through autophagy and through, what's the other word? It's autophagy and This is when cells get old and out of control, your body knocks them down. Autophagy, and I'll think of the other word. But your body takes care of it. It's our part of our natural immune system. But what happens is the natural immune system goes out of order, mostly due to diet and lifestyle. So let's get this party started. I hope you do enjoy the conversation today. I hope you'll be with us. We're going to be talking about these 5 major diseases and disorders. Let's talk about them. I just gave you the introduction. The 5 diseases and disorders we're going to talk about include overweight, obesity, cardiovascular disease, chronic inflammation, which creates autoimmune disorders. We'll be talking about metabolic syndrome disorder. And we will be talking about cancers. All of which is very, very important for us to prevent. And then I'm going to give you the solution, or a working solution. There is no the solution to something that is so densely complex. But I will give you a solution. So let's go into the first of these 5. First of all, let's take a little tour. I have some images that were in a folder, and I wanted to just give you a little tour of these images. The 5 disorders affect most Americans' health. We're talking about if cancer is at 40%, if overweight, obesity is at about, I think it's approaching 60% of all Americans. So that's 40% of Americans will develop cancer. 60% of Americans will develop overweight and obesity. With African Americans, it's 80%. Yeah, it is. How many Americans will develop cardiovascular disease? It is the leading cause of death in the US. It's the leading cause of death. So it's going to always be there, but at least can we hold it off by our lifestyle and dietary interventions? Yes, 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 we can. We can preserve our life using these tools. So most people will die of cardiovascular disease, and insofar as autoimmune disorders, there are so many of them, from asthma to allergies to many, many causes of inflammation. In fact, inflammation causes autoimmune disorders. So it's a circulatory thing. Autoimmune disorders create inflammation. The inflammation creates autoimmune disorders. And the other, metabolic syndrome, about 36% or more, and I'm recalling this number from the top of my head, of Americans are suffering from 3 metabolic conditions simultaneously. It is the simultaneous appearance of these metabolic syndrome diseases that causes an undiagnosed case of metabolic syndrome. So by the time it is metabolic syndrome, you're suffering from 3 or more of 10 different conditions. So that's what we are going to be dealing with today. I welcome any and all of your conversations for Africa One in the house. Hotep, Brother Keidi, and Global LB family not in the house today. Just wanted to say, Wappen. Wappen to you, dear. Great to have you passing through. And we love you passing through our house. You leave a beautiful fragrance behind yourself. And anybody else out there want to say hello? I'd love to have you join us, if nothing else, just for however long. Make sure you also do hit the like button, and let's get this party started. So we're going to begin with the number one on our list, and I'm going to be pulling this stuff largely off my head: overweight, obesity. I weighed myself about 5 minutes before coming on the air. I weigh myself every day at the same time. Exact same time every day. And my weight today was 149.9 pounds. That's about 66 or 67 kilograms. 149.9. It's actually very, very good. I think it's about 67 kilograms. And that is 4.9 pounds more than I weighed at age 25 years old. That was nearly 44 years ago. I have gained less than a half a pound every year. No, not every year, every decade. Now, I have actually weighed more than I weigh today, but this is stable weight. This is pretty much all year long at this point. I'm going to teach you how to lose up to 10, maybe 12, or for me, it was 14% of my body weight. You can lose that in 1 month. I said in 1 month. Now, people struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle with their weight for a long time. I feel you. I feel you. I do feel your sense of struggle. Rolling the stone up the hill only to have it tumble back down on your head at the end of that diet. That's because you're doing it the wrong way. Think about it. It couldn't be the right way if you gain it all right back. It's about lifestyle change and transformation. And I contend, although we do recognize it's harder for women to lose weight than it is for men, that appears to be very true. But nonetheless, women can do it, men can do it, especially menopausal women. I must say that, menopausal women. It's harder for menopausal women to lose weight than it is for menopausal men. But increasingly, we are finding menopausal men, I made up the word, are suffering this condition as well. Now, why would a man suffer menopausal weight gain? It's because he's consuming so many female hormones, female hormone mimickers. His endocrine system is a train wreck, mainly because of diet and nutrition. Now, I'll be honest with you, and you know this to be true. The doctors don't give a hoot about you. Largely as a class, as a general profession, I'm going to say it a second time. The doctors don't give a hoot about you. You are merely a diagnosis who's taking up a few minutes of their time for which they intend to get paid. Now, I can empathize with these doctors. Doctors are people too. Doctors have house notes to pay off, car loans to pay off. They must pay for that extraordinarily high education, getting certified to become a doctor. It's very, very expensive. And they run up all of these expenses. They have these expensive diagnostic machines that they invest in, etc. They do want to get paid. So I feel the same way myself. But what I am not going to do is give you false promises and false hopes. I'm not going to sit in front of you and pretend I know everything about your particular condition. That's just not true. I will study it thoroughly, very thoroughly, and I will put together a report on what I am convinced your condition is. Whether it be cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome, overweight, obesity, what was the other two? Cardiovascular disease or cancer. I will study your condition as thoroughly as possible and then deliver the report for which I ask a compensation at a discounted rate. And that's not unreasonable, especially if I can tell you more about that condition than your doctor has been able to tell you. So we're talking about clinical nutrition here, overweight, obesity. The main inputs to overweight and obesity are you eat too much, period. All Americans eat too much, nearly all of them. Some of them are anorexic or bulimic, and they are not eating enough. That is itself a psychological or psychiatric and metabolic syndrome combined. So if you are anorexic or bulimic, you can solve that problem. You want to eat the right foods and you do want to exercise so that your body retains the weight. But for most people, it's the exact opposite. It's overweight and obesity. Abdominal obesity is very, very prevalent in America. And abdominal obesity is not only overweight obesity, abdominal obesity also leads you into the camp of metabolic syndrome disorder. And it usually is accompanied by diabetes and hypertension. Could be accomplished by imbalance in your cholesterol levels, too much triglycerides, which are the fat storage molecules. Your metabolic syndrome could be a failure in your blood supply system to be able to get to the kidneys. Therefore, you're suffering from progressive nephropathy, kidney disease, chronic kidney disease. Metabolic syndrome could be in your gut, in the microbiome of your gut. That is a very common place for the metabolic syndrome to find itself. So metabolic syndrome can be overweight, obesity, abdominal obesity, cholesterol is out of balance, not high cholesterol, it's out of balance. You can have high cholesterol and you're doing good. But if you have low cholesterol, you're not doing so good. So cholesterol out of balance, high triglycerides, progressive nephropathy, could be hypertension, hyperglycemia, that's diabetes. Metabolic syndrome can also include dysbiosis, disruption of your gut microbiome. It can include cancer and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That goes almost hand in hand with abdominal obesity, because by that time, if you have this metabolic syndrome, you are overweight and you quite likely have a significantly protruding belly. We were joking the other day about saying congratulations to people who we assumed were pregnant. You know, you can't do that anymore because so many people are suffering from this condition, this metabolic syndrome condition called abdominal obesity or visceral adiposity, it's called. Visceral, meaning of the guts. Adiposity, meaning a condition of too much fat cells. And don't believe the hype of all of these ads that you are going to see on YouTube and other places that say, oh, just try this one thing. And they do something like blend salt and baking soda and cider vinegar and take teaspoons of this every day and your fat just melts away. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Eat whatever you want, your fat will melt away. It does not work like that. The GLP-1 inhibitors, they actually inhibit your desire to eat. So therefore, eventually, if you are losing weight, it's because you have no desire to eat. Excuse me, but I think that eating is an enjoyable act. I want my desire to eat to be wonderfully balanced into my lifestyle. Does that make sense? I think it does. So we're going to do the best we can to do the best we can. We are talking today about these 5 disorders. I started talking about overweight, obesity. Then I went into metabolic syndrome disease. They're both tied to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a serious, serious disease and disorder. Chronic inflammation affects so many different aspects of our life. It does. So we have to figure out a way to get chronic inflammation out of the way of your and my achieving our goals. Achieving our goals. I'm taking a little tour of this images on my desk. I stopped in the middle of that tour. Let's finish taking a little tour of the images. We have 7 facts and statistics dealing with indoor air quality. This is a very important thing because when we talk about ultimately keeping away these diseases and disorders, we must talk about the 7 principles of optimal health. The first of which is the breath. The breath. And if you are unable to breathe inside all day long, you're going to have to solve that. The breath. So what do? How about let's detox? Because one thing, the breath, when you inhale, you are taking in all kind of chemicals in micro doses, plastics, pollutants, chemicals, household chemicals, chronic diseases, molds, bacteria, insects. And this image says over here, 50% of all illnesses are caused or exacerbated by polluted indoor air. Do you believe that to be true? I think it is. I could be wrong. But I think that this is not only true, it can be verified and validated using medical scientific research. You spend about 90% of your time indoors. Indoor environments are 10 times more polluted than outdoor environments. I believe that to be true. Now, for somebody who spends an inordinate amount of time indoors, I'm going to have some sort of solution for that. Indoor air pollution from biological agents in indoor air related to damp and mold increase the risk of respiratory disease by 50%. Wow. That's serious. Indoor air pollution is a problem for all types of homes, whether in a dense urban city or a natural or a rural toe. There has been an alarming increase in the number of children with allergies and asthma. This has been linked increasingly to poor indoor air quality. And lastly, the EPA has ranked indoor air pollution among the top 5 environmental dangers. The top 5 environmental dangers. So we're going to have to come up with a solution for that. Number one, use a HEPA filter. HEPA filter. HEPA 3 is the best one you can use. It cleans the air all day long. And secondly, we're going to have to get into the habit of detoxifying. And detoxifying, the detox fast, which comes up a week from Saturday, we are going on a 21-day detox fast. The summer solstice is coming, y'all. Right now, I highly recommend you plan for your summer solstice detox fast. We're going to be doing one through LIB Radio as a collective. I'm hoping you will join us at least this once. What will you experience during the program? Experience up to 12% weight loss during your detox fast. Up to 12% weight loss during the 21-day detox. Yeah, I'm going to show you how I did it and how I do it. I never was really heavy, but at one point in my life, I was overweight. I don't know whether it was for a week or a month or whatever, but I looked at the scale, I did my body mass index, and it said I was overweight. Yes, I was. So what I did was I stopped eating. Not completely. I started consuming more raw juices. And at the end of this 28-day fast, that was in the spring of 2010, I went into the fast on day one weighing 180 pounds. No, 176 pounds. 176. At the end of the 28-day fast, I weighed myself. I weighed 150 pounds. Today, I weighed myself. I weighed 149.9. So at the end of that 28-day fast, I had lost 26 pounds from 176 to 150. So if I can do it, I know that you can do it. I know that you can. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. I know that you can do it, and you're going to make me proud. We're talking about detox, and we're talking about, I may be sounding a little random today, but that's okay. Sometimes you got to just be like that. We are talking about, I'm showing these images. This is the detox fast for life. The living superfood protocol to detox, revive, rejuvenate, and restore your youthful vitality and resilience through quarterly detoxification of your 18 body systems. Quarterly detox. This is the first day of summer. I did a detox on the first day of spring. I will be doing a detox on the first day of autumn and the first day of winter. It's quarterly. I know exactly when it's coming up. Every 90 days, I go on a detox. Reduce your weight. and don't get sick, stay off drugs, and you have the chance to live a long, healthy, much healthier lifespan. That's a good thing. We're going to encourage all of us to at least once learn to detox the right way. Detox fasting is for life. It's not a one-time one-off thing. No, this is for life. And it's a good trade-off. It's inconvenient, but boy, it's a great trade-off. And after, 4 seasons of doing it, you get used to it. You get also anxious and anticipating it even coming up. I've been doing it for 20 years now, and I'll swear by it. Detox fasting, including during that detox fast, I will do anywhere from 3 to sometimes several times I've done 10 days of water and juice fasting. I've done 10 days of water fasting. That's a little harder because you do have to manage your electrolyte balance so you don't cramp and get irregular heartbeat and other symptoms of your electrolytes are depleted. But boy, is it worth it. It really is, everybody. It is truly worth it. Let's go forward. A couple more images I want to share here. And we are talking about human growth hormone. This is one of the benefits of the water fast. With a 3-day water fast, 4-day or 5-day, you get into a stage where your body is building up its reserves of human growth hormone. And the higher the human growth hormone level in your body is basically the younger you will feel. Human growth hormone is a part of creating new muscle mass, new cells all over our body, new bone tissue, muscle tissue. And when you are in this fasting mode, your human growth hormone levels go up. And when they are up, you are getting younger. You can supplement with this, but this is illegal in professional sports, though, but not naturally. That's not illegal. We'll show you that you have a veritable fountain of youth in your adrenal system. We show you how you can exploit this miraculous asset to stay forever youthful, vital, and energetic. The natural way. And I think I've got one more images, strategies to boost your brain-derived neurotropic factor. You recognize these are all recent programs we've done here on LAP Radio. Brain-derived neurotropic factor is a crucial protein involved in brain health, learning, and memory. A member of the neurotrophin family, BDNF supports neuron growth, survival, and plasticity. The brain's ability to adapt and reorganize itself. BDNF plays a vital role in synaptic plasticity, enhancing the connections between neurons, essential for cognitive function and emotional regulation. BDNF is highly active in brain regions responsible for learning and memory. Highly active in learning and memory. It promotes neurogenesis, the formation of new neurons, and strengthening existing ones. Low levels of BDNF have been associated with neurological and psychiatric disorders, including depression, Alzheimer's, and schizophrenia. Conversely, higher levels of brain-derived neurotropic factor are linked to improved mood, cognitive function, and resistance to neurodegenerative diseases. Today, on this day, we took you through learning about this critical protein and what we can do, what we can actively do to increase its functioning across society. Across society. That's a very, very important conversation. I hope you did check it out. And then, of course, part of today's topic, fat, dumb, and ugly, the decline of the average American. That's a book written by Peter Strupp, Fat, Dumb, and Ugly. That's serious business. So that is what we are talking about today. We welcome your comments. We'd love to hear from you. This is real. This is real, people. I'm going to go right now back to my original notes. And we've talked about overweight, obesity, chronic inflammation, autoimmune disorder, cardiovascular disease. We need to talk about that one next. We did already bring up the subject and went deeper into metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease. You know, the overwhelming majority of cardiovascular diseases are caused by the same thing. It's true. The same conditions are largely responsible for metabolic syndrome. And that is our arteries are clogged up, congested by fat. What kind of fat? Animal fat. See, y'all didn't know that beef burger you're chowing down on, that it was planning its revenge. It was planning its revenge. That cow that you've been robbing since it had its first baby, its first calf, that you've been robbing that calf of its food, confusing it with human food, confusing calf food with human food. That calf never did nothing to you, but you stole its food and just stuff yourself with it. Cheesy pizza. Stuffed crust, triple cheese. Chicago pizza versus New York pizza versus genuine Italian pizza. The white flour in the dough and the white and yellow cheeses that cover it, and those slices of pepperoni and sausage and other stuff that you get on it have all been calculating, and they're calculating their rebellion, and they are getting back at you by causing cardiovascular disease. Little did you know that Bossy the cow would be so clever as to say, although I may have given up my life as a steer so that you can enjoy that burger, I'm going to get back at you. Even in death, I will get back at you. And what they're doing is they're causing cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease in most cases is caused by atherosclerosis. You get this plaque build up in your vessels, in your blood vessels, your arteries, your veins, your capillaries. And it also can extend to the glomerular channels inside your kidneys. These all become clogged up with fatty deposits. The fatty deposits pile up and pile up over the years until finally they get you. You're in the middle of doing something, and all of a sudden you feel dizzy, your eyes get blurry, you feel faint. That, my friend, is an early warning signs of stroke. Stroke is the fourth leading cause of death in the United States. I think I've got these in order. Number one is cardiovascular disease. Number two is cancer. Number three, diabetes. And number four, stroke. So stroke is now the fourth leading cause of death in the United States. You don't want to experience a stroke or even a mini stroke. Mini stroke will scare you out of a stroke. So what do? Let's control it through diet and lifestyle. That's a good idea. Through diet and lifestyle, you and I will prevent cardiovascular disease from taking over our lives. Through diet and lifestyle, we're going to consume more of the good stuff, the good fats, more of your, it's called insoluble and soluble fibers, which also go to support the gut microbiome, which is combating metabolic syndrome disease. You're now consuming unsaturated fats, olive oil, flaxseed oil, black seed oil, hemp seed oil. There's a lot of good oils out here and some very bad ones. Corn oil, vegetable oil, whatever vegetable is used, there are a lot of vegetables. These are not necessarily going to be complementing your life. Get you some high quality, extra light virgin olive oil, cold pressed. That's pretty high quality. And put that in your body. And live up. Enjoy the trip. Get rid of the atherosclerosis. One of the ways you can get rid of atherosclerosis real quickly is to go on a 3 to 5 day water fast. And almost immediately, your body goes into ketosis and it's burning that artery clogging stuff up as fuel. That's a win-win-win situation. I'm encouraging all of you to take this conversation to heart and join our summer solstice detox fast. I'm going to be changing my behavior, I think tomorrow. I'm going to start tomorrow. I was going to start on the first day of summer, which is actually a season later than what I normally would have started. But I'm going to start back my morning run tomorrow morning. I've been getting up, waking up naturally before the sun comes up. and having to cover my eyes, put a towel over my head so I could get that last little bit of sleep I've been wanting to get. Well, how about this? Starting tomorrow, I'm going to go to bed 1/2 hour or more earlier. I'm going to go to bed 1/2 hour earlier. So when I naturally wake up with the sun, I will go ahead and start my morning exercise routine right there. So that's 20 plus minutes of medium to high intensity. And then I'm going to go outside at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm going to, for the first few days, I'm going to mostly walk. But then after 6 days, I will be fully into my new routine of high impact interval training, HIIT. That's the highest that we can do to burn calories. And then I will be on my detox fast as of next Saturday. I'm going to begin it. And I will be taking off weight. Now, I do know that when I go out running like that, I will take off 1 pound of weight in running. Now, that's pretty intense. That's a lot of weight loss. I will be required to make up for that weight loss after the first few days. I probably will take off. I'm predicting right now. I plan to take off 8 pounds in, no, not 8 pounds, 13 pounds in 8 days, or 8 pounds in 5 days. Now that's going to bring it down to, I will be approaching, after the first week of a detox fast, I will be approaching the apex, the bottom of my weight loss during a detox fast. That is the extraction phase of the fasting. But that gives me access to beautiful longevity, and I'm still within the healthy body mass index for my height and weight. I will be within the healthy body mass index weight. Now, if I drop down to 137 or below, my weight gets too low, and then I start looking creepy. When my head appears to be bigger as my body's coming in on itself. But I tell you one thing, you see me at 140 pounds or 139 pounds, brother is ripped. I am ripped. I look like a boxer at that point. But I'm not a boxer, and so I don't necessarily want to be parading around looking like a boxer for too long. But then after taking off all of that weight, I will deliberately then begin putting the weight back on. And because I increase my reps on my morning exercise during the course of a detox fast, I will actually be regenerating, replacing my cells with healthy replacements. That is awesome. It really is awesome. Lastly, let's talk about cancer. Cancer is a convolution or a connection. That's not the word. What's the word? Cancer is all of these things coming together. And all of these things coming together not only brings us cancer, but it also affects, and bear with me, I have to change this over here. It also, cancer is a consequence of all of these things coming together, along with immune dysfunction. That's what I was trying to say. It is consequence of immune dysfunction. So therefore, I will be essentially beating cancer with food. Recently, I did a program on this, food as medicine for cancer. Food as medicine is an emerging concept that highlights the potential of plants, specifically superfoods, to transform cancer care through their bioactive compounds known as phytochemicals. These are naturally occurring substances found in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other plant-based foods. I know of no animal-based product. I don't know of any animal-based product that is reported to lower the risk of cancer. None. Not milk, not cheese, not lamb, chicken, turkey, beef, pork, sausages, none of them. Slim Jims, I don't know. I've never heard of any of them lowering the risk for cancer. So why do we then consume them? Because it's convenient. Cancer is very inconvenient. I know of no diet that has been proposed to combat these diseases that is not plant-based. These naturally occurring substances are found in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other plant-based foods. They have been shown to play a significant role in cancer prevention and treatment. Increasingly, research indicates that diets rich in plant-based foods can significantly lower or eliminate the risk of various cancers and enhance the effectiveness of cancer treatment. So we're going to take advantage of this. I am going to do the best that I can to convince you, and you to get on board this train. Get on board the train. And let's transform ourselves as we transform the larger population around us. I think that we can do it. A number of you do agree with me. But a number of you are kind of still sitting on the fence. We're going to do the best we can to change and transform ourselves so we can change and transform the world. The world, the world. That's what we intend to do. And you know something? When we are firmly intentional, we're pretty doggone good. Should you wish to join us, I extend the invitation right now. Come and sign up. I'll tell you what you can expect to receive. In fact, there are a couple of books. I'm going to throw 3 books in the package for those of you who do sign up. I'm going to throw 3 books in the package. So I'll need you to go to LIB Radio. No, not LIB Radio. I will need you to go to www.lsfdetox. It stands for Living Superfood Detox.com. Let me give you that link again. LSF Detox, www.lsfdetox.com. And I want you to sign up and join us. livingsuperfooddetox.com. Now, if you go there, you're also going to see a link to join the Living Superfood Family Support Group every Saturday. We do this, all of us in a network on Zoom. And I'm not going to leave anybody behind. Every Saturday we are on Zoom and we talk about our intentionality. Join the various groups that we engage for our collective programs. I am because we are. That's Ubuntu. So I'm going to put up that link as well for each and every one of you. And I now am going to slip right on out of here. I want to thank you for tuning in today. It didn't have a big audience, but that doesn't always matter. What does matter is that when we are together like this, we give it our best. And when we give our best to something that is transformative, I think we do a pretty good job. I think we do impress ourselves. So on that note, I want to thank you for tuning in today. For all of you who have been supportive over the long run, you know we are of no small ambition. We aim to change the world. One of the ways we aim to change the world is we aim to get on the African continent and make a difference in our families' lives. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can. We do know that Bill Gates and others have attitudes and opinions about our African motherland that we do not adhere to. And so as a consequence of that, we aim to pose an opposition, an alternative pathway for natural, holistic solutions to the real problems that our people face on the African continent and elsewhere around the world. If you are African, you are in Jamaica. If you are in UK or Canada or France, if you are an African person, you are in Colombia, CARICOM region. If you're in North America, if you are Afro-Latino, we consider this to be a global family. We love you. We respect your heritage because it is our common heritage. In fact, it's the heritage of all people on the planet. And so we aim to do the best we can. And you know something? The best that we can do is pretty doggone good. We aim to do the best that we can possibly to change and transform the world. You've been tuned into your favorite. We want to be and we want to remain your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV, and we are livinginblack.com. Tell your friends to tell their friends. We have our own now, and we are very proud of who we are, what we do. It is Ubuntu, and that's a beautiful thing. We are Ubuntu. I am because we are peace and prosperity to each and every one of you on your favorite LIB radio, LIB TV, on your favorite We Are Living in Black.com. So on that note, we are out of here. It's been a good day here on LIB radio. It's going to be a great day in your neighborhood. That's right. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.